Hello, guys. Welcome everybody to Purple Haze Podcast. I'm your host who bleeds purple and gold. So the Vikings get their sixth straight win in a row. They defeat the Kirk Cousins led Vikings, and they spoil Kirk Cousins' homecoming to Minnesota. Final score of 42-21. You know how I said the Vikings, they are masters of finding ways to win with the Kevin O'Connell led era? Usually gritty and nasty, and sometimes ugly. But this is a new way that they absolutely found a way to win. Instead of the defense doing the heavy lifting, the offense did it. The offense put up 42 points. They put up 28 points in the second half, and they're the ones that closed out the game. The offense did. This is a new way that I've seen them win, man. It's incredible the ways that they win now with Kevin O'Connell, man. And so let's get into it. I mean, the offense as a whole, besides one unit, absolutely dominated. They dominated the Falcons defense through and through, man. I mean, it was absolutely a showing. Boy, did they ever show out. The offense did. Yes, they got off to a clunky start, but then they got going in the second half. It was just a clinic from there on out, man. Sam Darnold, there's one takeaway from this is that I know everybody wants to say is Sam Darnold outplayed Kirk Cousins. Yes, he did, honestly. I am so glad that we moved on from Kirk Cousins, who is mentally inconsistent. He is mentally inconsistent and cannot bring pressure around from him. But Sam Darnold, 22 for 28, 347 yards, 5 touchdowns. He has not thrown an interception in 4 games. As a matter of fact, he threw 11 touchdowns and 0 interceptions the last 4 games. After the Jaguars game, he has been tough as nails, man. In spite of the offensive line not showing up, oh my goodness, was it bad. But Sam Darnold still threw for 5 touchdowns. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Sam Darnold was absolutely lighting it up. And he's just, I feel like he should absolutely get comeback player of the year. I would anybody be upset if he got signed next year? No. I would absolutely be fine with it, getting to a small deal, but Sam Darnold, he is killing it out there and in a good way. Aaron Jones, the last 3 games ish, he fumbled the ball too many times, at least twice a game. Didn't fumble it yesterday. 13 carries, 73 yards, and a touchdown. Cam Akers also had a solid game also. 5 carries for 37 yards. Overall, the run game, not bad considering how bad our offensive line is. 115 yards on the ground. Not too bad. Pretty good, honestly. That's pretty darn good if I say so myself, honestly. And how about the wide receiver duo? This was a Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison combo game. Jordan Addison, 8 catches, 133 yards, 3 touchdowns. Justin Jefferson, 7 catches, 132 yards, 2 touchdowns. Both of them combined, 15 catches, 165 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Both of them. Like, this is the Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison gun show out there, man. And, the thing about this, man, is that they are one of the best wide receivers duos ever. This is Chris Carter, Randy Moss, or I would go as far to say it was even better than Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen. Yes, it is. These two, honestly, because you can't double cover one, otherwise one of them's going to go off for a big play underneath or over the top one-on-one coverage. You can't do that with the others. Because even if you do double cover, I mean, you have other weapons too as well. TJ Hawkinson, 4 catches, 45 yards. Most of the damage in the second half. Through and through, the Vikings offense was 8 of 12 on third downs. They converted big time. They were big time plays after plays, man. I mean, sure, you can nitpick play calling, I mean, they could have scored 50 if we're being quite honest. They could have scored 50 points if not for the missed field goal or for this weird play call that Kevin will do. Can we stop with those play calls? That fake end around, like flea flicker kind of crap. Can we stop that? Just keep it simple. That's it. You don't need to do that, okay? Stop it. Anyways, I mean, Kevin O'Connell did a good job, though. I mean, he did a good job overall, though. So, yeah, I mean, there were some defensive shout-outs that I got to give to. Jalen Redmond, I mean, we could absolutely make a case of being a starter next season. Jalen Redmond has shown some flashes, some TFLs for the limited snaps that he has, that he's a big-time playmaker. Andrew Van Ginkel almost got home with some sacks, just couldn't quite close in the plays. He was still great. Blake Cashman was disruptive as a linebacker. Josh Metellus led the team in tackles, had 5 tackles, also had an interception. And also Byron Murphy Jr. also had a insane one-handed interception. That was massive, honestly. But yeah, and also going to special teams. I mean, Will Riker did okay. He did miss a field goal. But overall, he did make up for it for the point attempts, though. So I guess he's not fully, healthy. But, it is what it is, though. So I'm not going to completely crap in his cornflakes or something. No offense, though, to him. But the other special teams, Brian Asamoah, who recovered an onside kick up 28-21 to get the Vikings up 35-21. Brian Asamoah was a big factor in this. He punched the ball out in a kick return fumble and forced the ball out. So yeah, and then also CJ Ham for also recovering that. So basically, we got a flash of Brian Asamoah and what he actually is. Because he's capable of so much, but yeah, I haven't seen that much from him, which is basically the issue. But Brian Asamoah, he's absolutely playing his mind out, man. He did a very good job on that. Played very, very nice. Some bads, I talked about the fake end around flea flicker, which I feel like that does more harm than good when you're doing that, because it's just calculus instead of just 2 + 2. Like, according to that, man, just do something simple. Just do a pass play. Just do a run. Don't need to make it that complicated, bro. That ended up in a loss of 5, and you ended up fumbling the football on that drive. So, don't be doing that, honestly. Don't do that, honestly. Stop with those plays, okay? And the offensive line was absolutely atrocious yesterday. It was. Considering the fact that the Falcons were last in sacks and 26th in pressures, they allowed 4 sacks. Brutal, man. And the Vikings offense dominated, but the offensive line was a sieve yesterday. And also the defense. I mean, good Lord, was it not good? Yes, they gave up 21 points, but it was bend but don't. Man, it was bending and bending and bending and bending a lot. They almost gave up 500 yards to the Atlanta Falcons. And the soft zone coverage, you're just allowing, well, for the most part, I mean, for at least 70% of the game, you allowed Kirk Cousins to just pick off you on zone coverages. And you also allowed 158 rushing yards, 4.9, almost 5 yards a carry. Not good at all, man. The run game was I feel like the worst part was the run game was abysmal. Where if you would have taken the run game out of the way, I mean, they were just getting pushed back. I mean, the defensive linemen of the Vikings was getting pushed back. Zone coverage was getting picked apart. Kirk Cousins had all the time in the world, honestly. Who is a statue of a quarterback. I mean, I'm disappointed in the production of the defensive front than I am the cornerbacks. The cornerbacks, they are what they are. But for the 7 front to put on this kind of performance, unacceptable. Brian Flores definitely needs to figure something out because this is definitely concerning, but I will give them credit where it is due. They did make some plays. They did force 2 turnovers, so whatever. It's okay if they make plays. So yeah, I mean, the defense needs, and also the Kirk Cousins narrative. I mean, I am so glad that we moved on from this dude. What did I say? He was mentally inconsistent with this team. So I was fine with moving on from him and getting somebody else in here. JJ McCarthy, Sam Darnold, don't care who starts, just as long as it's not Kirk Cousins. And guess what, folks? Yesterday was a full reflection on Kirk Cousins. He is mentally inconsistent, and he puts up big stats. He had 330 passing yards. He puts up mostly empty stats instead of the actual production of the game. And it showed that he just racked up a bunch of garbage time yards, and it ultimately didn't matter when the game was over. So I mean, and last time I checked, Sam Darnold had more pressure than Kirk Cousins, but yet Sam Darnold is more tough. He shows more heart. He has more guts. He is more better than Kirk Cousins is right now. Yes, he is. And this shows how much a reflection of the system that KOC and Kwesi Adofo-Mensah created and how much big of a difference it makes with Sam Darnold than it does with Kirk Cousins. An expensive quarterback. Money and stats is all that matters to Kirk Cousins, but production with the team. But since the game's over, I mean, no disrespect to Kirk Cousins, but he was mentally soft. I'm sorry, it is what it is. So, yeah, I'm so glad we have Sam Darnold and not Kirk Cousins. But this is a game where this absolutely strengthens the team. This is what they need, honestly. Every single time, find ways to win. That is the recipe for success for the Vikings in the playoffs. No matter how ugly it is, honestly, they can find ways to win. I trust Kevin O'Connell to do exactly that and that team to find any means necessary to win games. And that's what matters. They are 11-2. They control their own destiny from here. And they still have a shot, to take the NFC North. They just need the Lions to lose one more game. One more game for the Vikings, for the Lions to lose. And I think, though, they might be good for the ultimate showdown week 18 at Ford Field for the NFC North and for the number 1 seed. So, this is absolutely some good stuff. This is a good football team, man. I am absolutely pumped up for the playoffs to see what happens here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Skol Vikings.